Buddy, so today I'm going to be working on a 2012 Mustang GT that has had some suspension issues. I suspect that the struts on this car are at least failing, if not have failed. When I took the car for a test drive, it feels like it has zero suspension at all. So I'm going to give it a quick look around after I get up on the lift, and then I'll start taking things apart and seeing if I can replace this strut. We're going to try and replace the upper mount for the strut, and then the strut itself, we're not going to replace the spring. So I will be removing the spring from the current struts on this car and installing them on the new struts that I have sitting over here. I'm going to go ahead and get this car up on the lift, and then I'll give you guys a look around, show you all what we're working with and what we plan on doing. Alright, hey everybody. So before I pull my car up on the lift, I just want to give a friendly reminder. Always make sure you undo your lug nuts before you get your car in the air, or you're going to have to drop it right back down and loosen them up there. So let me get that done, then I'll raise my car up in the air, and then we can start working on taking these apart. I don't think it'll be too complicated. I think there's just 4 bolts on top that I have to take off. Maybe 4 or 5 bolts behind the wheel hub, and then it should come off pretty quickly. So let me just get these loosened up. We'll go from there. Okay, so they're all loose. So let's get this car up in the air now. So because I'm working on suspension stuff, I don't really feel the need to go all the way up in the air. I have a little creeper that I can use. Honestly, I don't think it doesn't need the height that you could normally use for this lift. But let me get these tires off here. So that's off. Flip that off to the side. Pop that out. Put it off to the side. Now we'll put a little upward pressure on the knuckle, which should pop this bolt right out. Just give it a little love tap. There you go. All right. So now it looks like this is just stuck on the little bottom right here. I'm going to grab a hammer and just pop this bottom off. And then this should the ABS cable. Let's plug it back here. Oh, and look at that. Brake line is designed to hold on back there. So that looks like it's a 10. So I'll just quickly pull that off. This little guy. Cool. Alright, got that little bolt out. Let's take this little bracket off. Alright. Okay. Now that's out. That's just water, okay? Now, obviously I'm not going to have enough weight to push on this and compress it, but let's use my spring compressors and we're going to pull this spring tight, loose off the top of this, and then we will pop this nut off, pull this top bracket off, take the spring out, grab our new strut over here, and reattach. I just need to find where I put my little spring compressors. I think they're right here. Perfect. They're right here. So what I'll do with these is I will use 2 of them, one on each side, and I will use this to slowly compress this down a bit, and then that'll let me pull it all apart. So, you definitely have to be careful when you're doing this. These are incredibly dangerous if you don't know what you're doing and you're not careful. I have used these a couple of times, and I'm not going to say I'm afraid of them every time, but I'm definitely cautious every time I use them, just because you never know. Like, things can change in a moment, and I just want to make sure that I take every precaution I can to be safe when I am working with these incredibly powerful springs. Last thing I want is, to have to go to the hospital and, get my injuries taken care of because this spring is a loaded weapon. So you just want to be careful when you're taking these apart. If you don't feel comfortable working with it, please don't. Pay somebody, or make somebody who's done this before do it. Alright, so I got both of my sides on there. Grab this guy. I'm not trying to fully compress these. All I want to do is make the spring loose off of the top of this, so when I pop this bolt, it doesn't just shoot off and, well, try and kill me. Now, in theory, whatever I need to take it off of this one should be more than enough to get it tight on the other one. It looks like that is separated from there. Cool. So let's see what this needs. 19 is definitely not going to work, so it's probably a 21, maybe a 22. Yep, there you go, 21. I bet you that whole thing's just spinning. Okay. So what I have to do is get something to hold the top of this so that when I'm spinning this, it's not just spinning the entire piece. I could try this. Let me see if this works real quick. Yeah, that's not moving. Okay. So it's like I thought, I just need to grab something to hold the top of this. This open box wrench should be more than enough. So we'll put that on there. And we'll grab 21 from over here. I have one. So if it doesn't come off easily, what I'll do is I'll throw this on my bench vise so I can give it a lot more pressure than what I can from right here. Yeah. To the bench vise. Okay. That thing's a lot heavier than I remember. Go over here. There you go. So I'm a little bit short for this, but it's the best I can do. So alright, so when I do the next side, I'm definitely trying to loosen this up a little bit first before I work on it. It's definitely on there a lot more than I expected. Good for it, bad for me. So let's give this a shot. See if I can get a little bit better angle on it from right here. Yeah, okay. Actually, no, I don't want this. So I'm going to try something. So what I'm going to try and do is get this to stay on here and then just try and loosen this instead. Kind of like I did with the sway bar end links. What do I want to use for that? Take out the big gun. Sometimes it's nice to have big old tools just laying around, just in case you need them, because you never know. There you go. There you go. Now she's loose. So yeah, just needed the big tools there to get this to pop off. So when I take this off, I want to make sure that I don't make my spring fall. So I'm actually pull it back from this vise, set it down. Because again, if I do drop that and these spring compressors come off, it is not going to be a fun time. So I'm just comparing the new one over here with the old one right here, and as you can see, there's a lot more give on this this old one versus the new one. I think these were actually worn down and they came off of this inside lip. Yeah, because it looks like it's supposed to be held on there, so you know that could definitely be causing some issues. Alright, here's the spring. I'm going to set that down gently. Yeah, I don't know if this was like important or not. This is definitely a little bit damaged. Let's try and give it the old. Oh man, this thing's not even moving. Yeah, I think these struts were definitely bad. I can't even push down on this and have it come back up. So definitely a good choice to replace this one. I'm definitely happy that we're going to be replacing the other side as well. I'm going to take this off. Come on, please come out. Now I'm going to put the spring over here. Grab my new top piece, slide that on right here. Make sure all my stuff's all set up in the right grooves. Okay. Well, that's not cool. So, it looks like this doesn't want to seat the way the other one was seating. Pop this off. So, slight problem with the new struts. This top piece right here is significantly longer on the old one versus the new one, which is kind of a problem. That is not good. So that means that this strut assembly is not made for this car or these top mounts. Crap. Alright, let me figure out what I can do about this, see if it's something that I can fix, and if not, I guess that's just where we're going to hold for now. But I'll give you guys a quick update in a little bit. Alright everybody, so I decided what I wanted to do with these struts. Instead of trying to buy new ones, wait for the new ones to come in, maybe have the exact same problem that I'm having right now, I have decided that I will instead modify them to the exact same height that the original ones were, and then by doing that I can slide this all the way down and make it sit exactly like the other ones could. Probably took me about half an hour, 45 minutes of grinding to get this to the proper width right here. Got the little shelf for this to sit on, so now I'm just going to reassemble everything and then go from there. So while this isn't the most perfect fix in the world, this is the fix that I have time for and that I care to do. As you guys may or may not have figured out, I like to just get stuff done. I don't like to wait. I don't like to I just want things to be done in a efficient and effective manner, and sometimes that means breaking out the old thinking cap and making stuff fit that maybe shouldn't normally fit, or there's a lot to that, but I just wanted to make everything work, and that is what I'm doing, making everything work. I made sure when I was doing this that I measured the length of what this one is to the little ridge right here, the total overall length. So what I have here duplicates that and should fit nice and perfectly, just like the other one did. Shouldn't change the height of my car or anything like that. So I did test fit the strut by itself, just to make sure that this strut did work with my knuckle, and everything fit, everything looked good. So now it's just a matter of assembly and making sure everything's perfect. So I think it's safe to say that that is tight. So now I'm going to pull the spring compressors out. Alright, so now I'm going to back these both off. Okay, so that's one undone. And I think I'm tightening this side. That's two undone. Right. Crap. Alright. We're going to insert her in here, make sure it fits the way it's supposed to. Let me move y'all so you can see. There you go. Now, I already know it fits on the knuckle, so I'm just going to make sure that it fits up here in these holes the way it's supposed to. Alright, so I just put one of the nuts on here, just so I can stop holding it myself. It's not the heaviest thing in the world, but over time it definitely feels like it is. So now I'm going to get the knuckle set up here in the strut. Okay, bottom bolts in. Top bolt is getting there. first nut is on there. Cool, second nut's on there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the sway bar end link installed. So that appears to be in a slightly different position than the original one. So I'll just have to put a little bit of pressure on the bottom of the sway bar end link to get it to pop right inside here. Actually, I guess I could adjust the sway bar end link here. So these are adjustable end links that I bought. We'll just adjust that side out a little bit. Come on. See if maybe a little bit of leverage will help with this. There you go. Alright, cool. So that's all up. That's all fit. So these struts that I bought will in fact work with a little bit of modifications, which I'm personally okay with. I don't mind modifying stuff a little bit, but not everybody is, and that's okay. Right, I'm making sure I put my brake bracket back on. Cool, that's on. Now I'm going to install the 2 bolts that hold the strut on. I will get the torque specs for those in a minute, and I'll pull up my torque bar, or my the tool that I'm going to use to torque those to spec. And let's get this. So remember, this is reverse, so I'm going to go reverse to tighten. Let us get the torque specs for the lower control arm. Alright, so this is saying 166 foot-pounds for these knuckles. So, let's grab the big old torque wrench. Get these bad boys torqued down. $166. Get a little bit more extension. Hopefully that's not too much. There you go. Bottom one's done. Let's get this top one done. There you go. Alright, let's get these top bolts down, and then I'll show you guys the other side. Alright, cool. I'd say all those are done. And then let me reposition the camera for you guys, and then we'll start on the other side. Hey there everybody. So I've got my other strut off, and as you can see, I compressed it and it does not move. This strut is definitely dead. Probably been this way for a long time, but I'm going to show you what I did to make the other one work. Hopefully I can figure out how to fast forward it so y'all can see it in a couple minutes versus the probably 45 minutes plus that it's going to take me. But enjoy the couple hours worth of, or the little bit of grinding that I have to do for y'all. Alright, so that took a little bit of time. I tried something a little bit different this time. So instead of just grinding the entire thing down, I cut out large chunks. Cutting out the large chunks from here while maintaining my straight line right here really saved a ton of time compared to the last time I did this. So now that I have this all ground down so that the seat can fit properly, I will go ahead and start working on installing everything I need. So first things first, you got to install the coil for the spring. Next is the brand new piece from Ford Performance, the upper strut mount. So there's this little notch, I'm not sure if you guys can quite see. So there's this little notch right here that you want to make sure you seat your spring in. So you match the top of the spring with that. So that way everything sits nice and tight. So you have the bottom of the coil spring on this little groove back here. So you have the back of the coil spring on this little groove back here, and then you have the top of the coil spring up here in this groove. So that's all sitting nice. So now I'm going to put the locking nut and washer on top of this. So I'm going to put this back down at an angle because it's a lot easier to work on it like that. Alright, so now I'm just going to lock this down. I didn't even think about it. I bet that thing is still super hot. So I'll just spray that down with a touch of water just to cool it off a little bit. Just so I don't accidentally melt this locking nut. So that's about as tight as I'm going to get that. So now I can pull these off. Now I can go do the same process that I did for the for this side to install it, and that's it. So I hope y'all enjoyed watching me replace the struts and upper strut mounts on this 2012 Mustang GT. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. Otherwise, take care. Until next time.